Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and the message reads like this. Hello my brother, how are you? Can you please post for me as hidden identity? I have come here with my own story that I want to share with you. Maybe your own followers can help me out. So my brother, what happened to me is that I was dating 15 guys at the same time, and when I was dating all of these guys at the same time, I was doing it all because of money. I got introduced to this thing of dating foreign guys by my own friend after she had told me that I was losing out because the guy that I was dating, he was still struggling because he had just finished doing his certificate for being a paramedic, so he was not yet working full time. So me and him, we were always struggling, and I could not quite understand as to why I could not see that I was so much in love with him, because even though he was not yet okay financially, but he kept on cheating on me. And whenever he would have cheated on me, I would find myself forgiving him. Maybe it was because of the love that I had for him. And when I was with him struggling like that, so many times I would go, then I would start staying with him at his mom's house. And his mom was not someone who was a kind-hearted woman. She was always angry. Why she was always angry, I do not even understand. But at the end of the day, I then found out that her son was lying to her. She thought that all the money that he was not yet getting, all of that money was coming to me, and I was using it to take care of my other baby because I had my child when I was still in grade 11. So with all of this confusion that was happening when I was staying with him at his mom's house, I then decided that it was far much better to go back home. And each and every time that I would have returned back home, he would always come back to me. There was even a point whereby I had met this other guy. It was a good deal for him, and it was a good deal for me, because he said that he wanted to have his own business here in our country. So he wanted my assistance. We were going to get married, and we were going to get married only on paper, and he was going to take care of me and my family. But that boyfriend of mine, he came and messed up everything for me, so I started struggling again. Then my friend kept on suggesting that I should try my luck again, and I kept on trying my luck, and now I was even doing it as a secret from my boyfriend. I was lying to him that I was still in love with him, but in my heart, I had totally moved on with my life. That was when I started dating a lot of foreign guys. At one point in time, I was dating 15 guys, and all the money that I was getting, my brother, it was quite a lot of money. And I was using that money to take care of my mom and my baby. So there was this other guy. He was always traveling between our country, going back to his country. This man, he was a man who loved using a lot of herbs, and whenever me and him we will be together, he used to give me some herbs so that I can drink. And once you drink these herbs, you can feel like you want to go all the night just making love. Then there was one time when he was back in his country, he called me and he told me that this was a quick call. So I spoke with him. Then he said that he was only asking for 2,000 rands. I asked him what was the money all about, and he said that he can't tell me at that moment because there was something that he wanted to do with that money. So he showed me the way that I was supposed to send the money. Then I sent him the money. After I had sent him the money, when he returned back, he then called me to his house. Then I went to his house and I asked him if he was going to give me my money on that same night. Then he said, no, I cannot give you the money today, but I will just give you the money for the reason as to why I will only give you the money that I always give you when you have come here for a sleepover. That was the money that he gave me. As for that 2,000 rands, he kept it, I don't know for how many months. Then after so many months had passed, and I had already forgotten about that money that I had given to him. That was when he said, "Here is your money, you can take it. I am done using it." So I was really interested as to what he was using all of that money, because as far as I knew this guy, he was a man with a lot of money. With all the money that he had, I could not even understand as to why he would borrow me the money that he had given me previously. So he then told me that when he had returned back home, that was when he wanted to go and visit this other traditional healer. He said that it was his personal traditional healer, sort of like a family doctor. Then that traditional healer told him that it was time for him to sacrifice someone in the family. So he had tried to sacrifice one of his brothers who is here in South Africa, but he had failed. And that brother of his, my brother, is a very powerful and a prayerful man. Even the day when he found out about our relationship, he rebuked me and he said that it is a bad thing for me to fall in love with a married man, but I didn't even care because I was in this relationship only for the financial benefits. So when he said that I cannot sacrifice my brother because he is a very powerful prayer warrior, I just thought that maybe he was pranking me or something. He then started explaining all of the rituals that he had done on his brother. So I just wanted to experiment and to see if indeed all the things that he was telling me were nothing but the truth. He then said that if you think that I am lying, don't you know that out there are some traditional healers that are willing to buy women's pads, your sanitary pads that you would have used on your monthly period. If you want, you can sell them and you can get money. My brother, that was when he started telling me that I know that you have a lot of boyfriends, and my charms told me that you have a lot of boyfriends. Even from the day that I started dating you, I already knew that you were going to agree because you are in this only for the money. So instead of you sleeping around, is it not better that here and there you would give me your sanitary pads, then I would return with them back home, and when I come back here to South Africa, I'll then give you your money, or rather when one of my trucks will be coming here to Durban to collect some loads or to drop off some loads, then the driver will hand you your own parcel in form of the cash that we would have gotten from your sanitary pads that you would have given me. So I thought that maybe this guy was joking or something, because I didn't even believe in this thing of charms and muti. So when my periods came, I then called him and I was laughing because we had a video chat, me and him. As I was laughing, I showed him that I was on my periods. What should I do then with all of my used sanitary pads? I even showed him some of the used sanitary pads that I had placed inside a plastic. Then he said, keep it, I'm going to come and collect it. Later on in the day, he then told me that he was too busy because he had to fly to Cape Town to meet up with some of his partners. He then said that he was going to send one of his drivers. He then said that I was supposed to package it in such a way that the driver was not going to notice that there were used sanitary pads inside that plastic. So my brother, I took one of my cologne, then I sprayed it. I sprayed all of those sanitary pads so that they won't smell. After that, I then took another cloth and I took one of my t-shirts. When I was doing this, I kept on spraying and spraying all over again because I didn't want them to smell. So when that driver came, he then picked up that plastic bag and he went with it to that guy's house. Later on, the guy confirmed with me and he told me that he had gotten the parcel. He was going straight to Zim so that he can see if he will be able to sell off those used sanitary pads. When he arrived in Zim, like always, once he had landed at the airport there in Zim, I was the first person that he would call, and he told me that he was headed straight for his traditional healer, and a couple of hours later he then sent me a message on WhatsApp, and he told me that it could not be done because the traditional healer had rejected my sanitary pads. My brother, when you have reached that point in your life whereby you think that you are going to be rich, then you are told that you cannot be rich. Those things, my brother, they will make you to feel like you are losing your mind, like you are going crazy. I then asked him if it was possible to use someone's sanitary pads. That is how I ended up using my little sister's sanitary pads, as well as one of my aunties who was staying at our house at that time. She was working in town, so she could not afford to pay rent, so she was just staying at our house. So what I then started doing, my brother, is that I first stole my little sister's sanitary pads, and he went with only one sample, and he gave me the go ahead, and he told me that this blood was accepted by the shrine at his traditional healer's place. So after that, the money that he gave me, it was not enough, because initially he had told me that at least per month I'll be getting something like 20,000 rands, but when he came back he only gave me 5,000 rands, and I saw that it was not enough at all. What I ended up doing is that I convinced him to take one of my auntie's used sanitary pads. Then when he went back, he told me that the shrine as well, he had accepted the blood that was from my auntie's periods that were on her sanitary pads. So per month I was earning around about 8 to 9k each and every month, my brother. So at that time I was not even working. What I will do is that when everyone would have gone out, I would pretend as if I was just cleaning around the yard, and I'll be looking at the refuse bins just to see if my auntie or if my little sister went on their periods. I even kept some dates on my phone to make sure that whenever they will be on their periods, I'll be able to steal their used sanitary pads. I did this, my brother, for about a year until my auntie passed away. The way that my auntie passed away, we still do not even know what kind of a sickness it was, because on her private parts, it seemed as if there was a flower that was coming out. That vegetable that is called broccoli, that is the type of a flower that was coming out of her private part, but it was not a natural flower. It was some of her flesh on her private parts that had transformed, and they had become something white in color, and they had become something like that broccoli flower. The way that she passed away, people just said, this one, she has been dating a lot of guys from DRC, because at the area where she was working, there were a lot of guys from DRC that were staying in that area. So she used to date a lot of them. So everyone just said that maybe one of those guys had given her an STI. But on the day of her funeral, my brother, I kept on feeling very guilty, not knowing if it was me who had caused her death. My brother, after we had buried our auntie, I kept on sending those sanitary pads that I would steal from my young sister. I kept on doing this until I stopped. This was after my little sister had 2 miscarriages, even though she was not married. But when she had those 2 miscarriages, that was when I decided that I could not do this anymore. And I spoke with my guy, and he said that it is fine. And little by little, he then started ignoring me until one day he told me that he didn't want to date me anymore because he wanted to stay faithful to his wife. As soon as he had dumped me, my brother, that was when my sister came to me. So my sister, when she came to me, she said that she didn't understand what was going on with her private parts. She was failing to urinate properly. There was something, a little tissue, a bodily tissue that had came out of her private parts, and it was halfway blocking the area where she urinates. So she didn't understand what was going on with her body. She thought that maybe it was because of her having several miscarriages that was now causing all of those things that were happening to her. So at first when I said, please show me, because I was really scared and nervous, knowing that I used to steal some of her sanitary pads and sending them to Zim, I said, please, can you show me? At first she was hesitant, she didn't want to show me, but as the months progressed, one day she came to me and she told me that, sister, this thing, it is still growing, please can you look at it? I said, lie on the bed. So she was lying on the bed whilst I opened her legs and I started looking at her, and indeed, my brother, on my little sister's private parts there is something that looks like a bodily tissue. It is white in color. This thing, you can actually touch it and it feels as if it is coming from the inside of her private parts. When I looked at that thing, I was really scared, thinking of the way that our auntie passed away. Even right now, my little sister, she is always scared because of the way that our auntie passed away. Me and my parents, we have tried to run around looking for help and assistance for my little sister, but there is nothing that is coming out, because all the prophets, the local prophets that we have visited, they can't even find the root cause of this problem. And I am afraid that if I start to tell my relatives that there was a time when I was dating this guy from Zim who was a wealthy guy, and he had said that if I wanted to earn some money, I can give him some sanitary pads so that I can earn some money. For a whole year, my brother, at least I was earning about 9K a month. But now, all of that money, my brother, I do not even know what I used with all of that money. I did nothing with that money. Each and every month when I would get that money, before sunset, sometimes in my account I would see that I'll be having less than 1,000 rand. And when I would sit down and when I would ask myself, where did this money go? Did I lose any money? Did someone steal from me? And I could not even understand. In 1 year, my brother, I lost more than 4 phones until I went and I bought a phone from those guys that sell phones in the street. And that is the phone that I used for a very long time. But with that money, no matter how hard I would try to save it, that money will just disappear, as if there was something that was taking all of that money that the man from Zim would have given me. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received. It was sent to us by one of our dear sisters. Strange things do happen in this world, and the painful part about these rituals is that they hurt or they cause a lot of pain to those ones that didn't do the rituals. Recently, our team visited this other family. This family is suffering a lot. The family is there in Zim.
Saka muri yeZimbabwe ndo nyaya yacho yatinayo, inoita kuratidza kuti France anofamba sei, anofamba achigwesha mafambiro ake France